Hi everyone, I'm finally back. It's been a while. So I've been busy, with the big move, and then I did some remodeling and became the president of the association. So hopefully I'll start getting another project out once a week on this channel. If you're new, welcome. Today I'm going to start small. I'm going to start with the pearl pour, which I think is one of the hardest pours to do. So why I want to start with that, I don't know. But let me go through the colors here. This first color is Liquitex Basics Light Blue Permanent. The next color, let me show you the consistency. So this is thicker than the base coat that I'm going to be using, but it's still pretty thin. It leaves a small mound. This color is Artist Loft Violet, and I added a couple drops of Payne's Gray by Media. This color is Olive Green Light by Amsterdam, and I added 1 drop of Payne's Gray in that to make it just a little bit darker. This one is Chroma Molten Metals Copper. Now I find that this brand seems to pearl good compared to other metallics. And then this is the Chroma Molten Metals Dorado Gold. So that's what I'm going to be using today. Put those to the side. I'm going to talk about the base coat. So my base coat is very thin. It sinks in. You can see that. It sinks in. The recipe, been fiddling with it. Pieces of Tara's Artistry. I used her recipe, and I've had recipes from last year, a year before, whatever. But I'm in a more humid area now, so I had to adjust it a little bit. So it's 3 parts US Floetrol, 3 parts Behr 7300 untinted satin, a half a part GAC 800, a half a part Liquitex Gloss pouring medium, 2.5 parts Artist Loft White Flow Acrylic, which is this one, Flow Acrylic. It's from 2019. I opened it a couple months ago. Yeah, they don't make it anymore. Now they make the soft body. So for pearls, everybody's bummed because they don't make this anymore. This is the last of it. I have about a half a bottle left. So that's this recipe. And then 2.5 parts water. And I stir all that up, and I got this. So let's see how this goes. So I already put some paint, brushed on some paint around the edges, so the paint will stick better than just flowing off and being very thin on the sides. So let's see what we could do here. Let's get going. You know what? I'm going to add some black. I'm going to add some black to this. So I have black. It's very thin. This is the Flow Acrylic Black too, Artist Loft. I think I want to add black because it pops pretty good. And they also don't make that anymore. I'm going to start with the black. Go green. Blue. Gold. purple. think that green is getting lost, so I'm going to add a little bit more over here. Just getting lost. Okay, hope you see that. So let's get to tilting. Hope everybody's doing good. I know it's been a while. But go ahead and comment where you're from, where you're watching this from. I would appreciate that. Just curious. Okay, so if you're not getting pearls, there's a couple things that are important. One is getting enough paint off. Two is, well, the recipe, of course. Three is making sure your paints are thin enough. When you think you have your paints thin enough, you need to thin it a little bit more. Sometimes that's how I see it. My paints are mixed with approximately, depending on how thick my paints are, 50% Floetrol with a squirt of GAC 800 and a squirt of Liquitex pouring medium. I stir that up. I want a very small mound, still very thin. And then I add water to the correct consistency. Now, if you're just starting, I would practice on tiles, because you don't want to waste it on a bigger canvas until you know that you're getting them. Okay, I'm going to bring it back. Now there's different satins that you can use, but I am using the Behr 7300 as my pearl maker. Of course, the Artist Loft Flow Acrylic is also pearl maker. And the GAC 800 and the Liquitex is used for a couple things. One thing would be so it doesn't crack while drying, and the other thing is to hold the paint together, because you're using so much water in this technique that you want to make sure your paint doesn't break apart, and it's like a binder. So that's why you use those. Now if you're having trouble getting pearls, you may want to try some Deco Art Satin Enamel in your recipe for your base. That might help. And don't start with any metallics. Metallics are really hard to pearl. They're light, so they don't sink and let the pearls come up. What else for beginners? All right, great. This isn't working. Don't know what's going on. I'm just popping the air bubbles. Certain brands of paints pearl better than others, I've found. Liquitex Basics pearls really well. Most Amsterdams pearl really well. You know, it just depends, really. The Artist Loft Flow acrylics, the black really pearls well, as you could see. It just depends on so many factors that you have to just get it right for yourself. And everybody has a problem with pearls, including, you know, the people that are out there doing this all the time. There's just so many factors involved. So if you're just starting out, I would not recommend this technique, especially if you don't want to buy a bunch of supplies. So I'm going to turn on the music and we'll just see what happens, and hopefully something will happen. Okay, so I had some camera trouble. I actually filmed, I let this painting dry. I didn't get very many pearls like I wanted to. I'm rusty coming back after not pouring for a while, and I need to tweak that recipe. Anyway, let it dry, and then I put the dots down. When you put the dots down after it dries, you're going to have some texture on your painting. So before you varnish, you want to make sure it's really dry. But if you put the dots down wet and you have thinner paint, then you have a chance of them spreading out, and sometimes that's a cool look too. I've done it both ways. So if you look back on some of my other videos, probably from about a year ago or longer, you'll see some of the other paintings I've done with dots. But I like how this turned out in the end. I think it looks pretty cool. So let me know what you think. Tell me where you're from in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Aloha. Take care.